Okay, this latest version of iView chart, it's designed to run on black bull markets, which will give you that 500 to 1 leverage, which is so important, good spreads and good fills. So when you've used MT4 before, you know this is how it looks. You know, very, very basic. It doesn't give you a great deal of information. iView Charts is going to quickly bring that information based upon all my technical analysis and experience in the markets over the years. So you're going to use really the templates of the profile. So even if you just put a blank chart profile on here, then you'll be able to see, you know, the markets look a lot clearer already. You know, give you this idea of direction, green and red candles, etc. But what we're really looking for is my you know, fibs, my experience, which, you know, again, I've just broke it down to two basic templates now. And the first one is the Fibonacci that gives you an idea of where the market is going to find the expansion point. Market gets high, hits the 50% retracement, which is the pivot point, then the market will go back down to these lower points of the fibs to retrace, and it's as simple as that. You know, again, it's a lot of people ask me where to draw fibs to and from. You know, it's all in the book, the Rough Guide to Trading, but this is an automated system that picks up on the triggers that I've programmed over the years to allow, you know, you to get this Fibonacci on any time frame and on any product, which just saves you so much time when you're trying to do your technical analysis. If you want some more information, you can go down to the Fibs bias. Gives you an idea of where the market's topping out. Obviously, all these type of indicators are lagging, but this is designed in a way to give you an idea of where the market builds up all that pressure. You tie it in with the Fibonacci, you know, maybe use some of these pivot points, which I'll explain a little bit later on, and you know, these higher time frame points of interest, and all that put together, you know, will give you much more information than just the charts alone that MT4 provides. As I say, really what you're looking for is to use the profiles, things that are set up by me very, very purposely to allow you not just to save time, but to view the markets in the correct way. The best way to look at the markets for me is on the hourly to see that idea of where the formations are building up. Again, you look at where the Fibonacci's are, you know, if we're below the pivot, you know, we're coming to points of resistance, or down here in the dollar, points of support. And, you know, just by looking at that overall snapshot, you get an idea of the correlations, how markets are working together. And if you see something of interest, like the dollar, for instance, then you've already got a profile set up here, you know, to go down to you know, the dollar versus the yen, and you have it in all the different time frames with the bias already set out. So the daily might be giving you an idea that the market is looking to go down, but on the hourly, 15-minute and 5-minute, different story. You know, you've created a different set of conditions, and the market is actually in the short term getting towards that 50% pivot and above on the 5-minute, and we might see a breakout in the short term. So the great thing about this is that each individual product that you see on those 8 screens, it is broken back down into these individual views. So you have other things like a trade screen. If you wanted to kind of trade the DAX, for instance, you've got the hourly of the DAX here. You've got the S&P, which is a good indicator of what the DAX is going to follow. Then your 50-minute and 5-minute for entry. You've got your, you know, your bias down here that you can use. And again, it's all about understanding what's happening in that time frame of that product. So really, I mean, it looks incredibly simple now. It's incredibly stripped back, and a lot of the features that I had in iView were kind of getting people a little bit confused. They were using too many things. You want to keep trading simple. It's all about being right at the right time. So the combination of time frames, the combination of the technical analysis, you know, is what's key. So just to kind of explain how that looks, each individual time frame will have its own set of fibs. So you're not going to see the same fib levels on the different time frames. So if you're looking at the hourly, for instance, yeah, you can see that the market has gone up, gapped up, not been closed. You know, that's a technical thing that you don't need iView charts to tell you. You can see and identify it here. Made its way up through, pivoted around the fib, not really broke up higher, but more rejected a close above that 50%. So the market looked like it's coming down. Okay, so that's your view. That's where the 50% was on the hourly. If you look at the 15-minute, for instance, you know, we're below that, but you've had a much better opportunity, you know, again, to sell the 50% and buy back at these lower fib levels, you know, because that's a different time frame. And the same happens on the 5-minute. Now, what you're always going to see with iView is that, you know, the indicators will change based upon the time frame that it's looking at. So the fibs will look different. The pivot points, which are based upon the open candle, will look different. So as I say, when you go back to this overall view of how you should look at a market, You're getting each time that consistent, solid view based upon my own experience of 20 years of trading, making money, and mentoring, hundreds of people over the years. And what you get is this idea that all these time frames, that's all you need. You can look at the daily for direction, but you don't use that for intraday trading. You can use the hourly to understand where you are from a setup perspective. Then your entry point comes from the 15-minute and your 5-minute. So again, the most strong bias indicator here, sell at an 82.7. You're below the 161 spot 8, so you know that if you can sell, you're selling high in value compared to the 15 minutes, and you can sell all the way down to the 423 spot 6, and that's your trade. How many indicators do you need to give you the levels of resistance by the pivot, the Fibonacci, and the bias all telling you to push low? And on the 5-minute charts, again, it looks a bit higher. So, you've got the 50% as a natural pivot, and if it breaks below that, you might see quicker, faster movement on the 5-minute chart, because that's what's happening right now. So all in all, it's a very, very simple to use product. And again, it was valued at $999. That's what I sold it for. I'm now going to give it away to free for people that open a new account, live account, of course, with Black Bull Markets. And they're based over here in New Zealand with me. I can still, again, do my channels on YouTube. I still, regularly, tweet at Steve Ruffley. So lots of things, lots of ways you can contact me. But you're not going to get a better way of being able to interpret technical analysis from somebody who's done it for a long time, and also something that's such a time saver. You don't have to set up each individual chart. You have your profile and your templates, and they're all done for you. Absolutely, if you want to, you can go to town and add the indicators manually, and you can have this set up however you want. But there's no other way, I don't think, of interpreting the markets this reliably and this quickly. So that's all the things that are new in the setup of this version. As I say, it's a stripped down way of using MT4 and my technical indicators to save yourself not only time, but to give you the best opportunity of making money from those best entry and exit points. Anything else you want to kind of get me on, just get me on Steve at steveruffley.com, the email, or Skype me at Steve Ruffley. Just simply Google Steve Ruffley. I'm not a difficult man to get hold of. My mentoring's now open. I'll be doing one-to-one mentoring for people that want to be turned into a fund. On average, I turn one single person a year into a fund, which I back or I find backing for, and that's how I make my money from all this mentoring, side of the business. So there's no more kind of mystery than that. You can't make money in the UK anyway from taking commission from an intrusive brokery, and even over here the kind of rules are changing. So it's all down to making money from the market, and being able to kind of survive and use tools like this for your advantage. Okay, thanks for listening, and as I say, any other questions, just contact me.